Okay. Yeah, I see just 9 so far. Yeah, I guess that's something I'm going to need to look into now to see how to block phone calls. Because I use my phone to stream on these. It looks like everybody's finding their way back here. I apologize for that. I will look into seeing how I can block phone calls during a live stream. I didn't know that it would actually do that.
So, Carl,
Yes?
just in the interest for yourself, you might consider just kind of starting all over from the beginning
Yeah.
with their design expression. That, I'm doing this today or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, somebody said do not disturb mode. Let me see if I can get that set up just in case. I don't want to have another incident here. And this will give more people time to come back in. So, I don't know if I can get to... No, I don't want to take a chance that I mess something up. Okay. Hopefully nobody else will call me. I apologize for that.
I know where the do not disturb is, I think.
Well, I don't
Just do your thing.
want to turn the phone off to get to it, hun. Oh. Okay. Julie found the magic do not disturb switch, so hopefully that works. Okay. It looks like everybody's finding their way back. So I'm just going to start over a little bit here, just kind of reiterate what I did here for anybody that's watching this later. So I apologize. I had a phone call come in the middle of my live stream, and of course I used my telephone for doing my live streams, so that stopped everything. So I'm doing a Geode tapestry, and I'm tying images in. So what I've done so far up here in the upper corner is tie in a heart, and now I'm getting ready to tie an infinity symbol in this other corner. So for the infinity symbol, I do have a couple videos out there, but I'm just getting a new one. Oh, let me switch over here to live chat. Okay. So thank you guys for making your way back here. I see we only got 30 people watching. I'm thinking that there must be other people that didn't make it back to this. Hopefully you guys find your way back. Anyways, so I'm going to tie the infinity symbol here in the corner for the geode. So I folded the corner in half and then in quarters here. And then we're going to draw the infinity symbol in. And I'm just kind of freehanding this. Normally I would make a stencil, so this might be a little bit wonky, but we're just going to go for it. So this one here, like I say, I folded in half and in half, so I'm going to start folding right from the corner. This here's the center point of the infinity symbol. And also I am working on a clean dry tapestry. I did a pre-wash on this and then dried it. I did not soak it in soda ash. The dyes that I'm going to use, I've mixed soda ash in with them. So that's all the soda ash that I'm going to use, is just what's mixed in with the dyes. And like I say, I am folding this dry because I'm going to do an ice dye on this, and I want to get better saturation than I had on my last geode tapestry. And sometimes the dry fabric is what it takes to get the dye to penetrate all the way down inside, because the liquid does want to go to wherever the dry fabric is. So that's sometimes why our we put our dyes on and they want to spread around a little bit, it's because they're spreading into the drier areas of the tapestry. Excuse me. But anyways, the folding of it dry just makes it a little bit more difficult to fold. So anyways, we're going to tie that one up with sinew also. Oh, I should have loosened that up some. Okay. And the main thing when I'm doing the infinity symbol is to tie your sinew right down across this point here. If you go off to the side, then your infinity symbol doesn't get connected quite as well. So I like to go right straight down over the top of that point, just to make sure I have a nice infinity symbol that crosses in the middle. And if you have to, you can go over it a couple times and make the area just a little bit thicker to make sure that you cover that center point. Okay. Let's see, is that a mushroom on your shirt? Yes, this here is one of the gifts. This here's, it's got a steely on it with a mushroom in the head. And this one here was one of the free gifts that was sent to me by Naughty Nelson Dye Company. So, anyways, I like wearing these gifts when I do my videos just to kind of show off their work a little bit. So if you guys are liking this one here, look up Naughty Nelson Dye Company. Okay, so there's my infinity symbol up there. I got my heart over here. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and go for it right here in the middle. I'm just going to gather up a bunch and start tying my geode. And I like to just go kind of really random, so I kind of get kind of a bunched up messy mix there for my center, and that just gives me a little bit more shape in my geode. And you can start down at the outer edge and work to the middle, or you can start in the middle and work your way out. And that's just my preference. I've done it both ways. I don't know that one way works better than the other, but I just like doing it from the middle, so that's how I'm going to do mine. And I just kind of really wadded that center spot up just because I want a lot of texture there in the center of my geode. And then from this point, it's just a matter of just tying your loops in there. And I usually will kind of gather some extra fabric up, just little extra wrinkles, and add them in, because any bit of the extra fabric, if you just straighten it out and tie your things in, it's going to be more kind of like a bullseye thing. And I want mine to be kind of a wonky rock. I like the geode rocks. You can see those ones where they do a little slice of them. Anyways, I've seen a lot of those, and I like the shape. So I just try to work with those shapes by adding just all these extra little ties in there. And also you can vary how much space you leave in between your ties, whether you have a little skinny one or you have a wide one. The rocks that I've seen, they have different variety. And the other thing you can do is tie little geodes within the geode just by gathering a little piece of fabric. So you can see how I just kind of gathered a little bit, and I'm tying that off there in the circle. And then from there, I'll go down below there and gather up more of this fabric. And then just kind of encapsulate that. So this here is going to have the ring, but it's going to have an extra little geode sticking off to the side there. That's what I like about doing the geodes, is there's so much variety that you can do with these. And of course, each one of them, well, like any other tie-dye, is going to be different, but the geodes, you can really kind of put some personality into them just by putting extra ties in. And that's what I like to do. So we're just going to keep on doing that, work our way down here. So this here, I'm getting closer over to the heart here. So what I can do is direct this. So I kind of spread this out to see where I'm headed here. And instead of gathering up more of this fabric here, I can gather up more fabric this direction. And that will just kind of put my geode going down the tapestry a little bit here. And I can just do a straight tie here instead of gathering extra fabric up. That's what I'm talking about, because I don't need these here to collapse into each other too much. I do want to put a couple extra ties around this heart, but I'm going to do that later. Okay, looks like we have more people finding their way back here. Like I say, I apologize for the phone call, and I will remember to put my phone on Do Not Disturb in the future so that that doesn't happen again. That was just kind of threw me off my game a little bit here. Okay. And then, like I say, the geodes, you can make them as big or as small as you want to. I think I'm going to put one more tie on this one here. And then I'm going to cut my sinew and start on a new one. I'll probably start going around the heart here a little bit. Alright. And then whenever I cut my ties, I usually like to put a knot in these ends, so I just kind of wrap around a few times, tuck that tail back through, and that just puts a nice knot in there. It makes that easy for me to grab that later when I need to unwrap it. And I remember I didn't do that on these, so I better knot these up too. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to put a couple ties right in the heart here. Oh no, I guess that's the infinity. So yeah, maybe I'll go ahead and put a couple extra little ties in the infinity, and then I'm going to work this down a little bit, and then I'll go over to the heart and do the same thing. Okay, now I'm going to spread this fabric out around the geode just to make it easier for me to grab some of that excess fabric. And of course this one here is going to be doubled up, so I'm not going to do too many wraps around here because I am kind of right close to the edge, but I just want to add a little bit more variety to this infinity here. So I'm just kind of wrapping this back down, and then we'll put a couple rings around this and then go on, move on. And like I say, I like to tie these little side geodes in just a little bit, just to add a little bit of extra variety. And I think we'll do one more, and then we'll move on. Alright, we'll call that good there. Then of course later on I will be doing the Q&A like I usually do. I do see some questions there. I'm going to try to just hold off on answering questions while I get this tied up. But Julie will be taking note of these questions, and I'll be answering those as soon as I get done putting some dye on this thing here. But we've got to finish tying it up. So now I'm going to move on. This here is the heart that I tied up earlier. I'm going to put a little bit of geode shaping inside the heart and then wrap down around the outside. So what I'm doing here is just kind of opening that heart up, and then I'm going to kind of scrunch it back together, and that'll just give me an interesting pattern, hopefully. I'd say will give me an interesting pattern. I'm hoping it'll give me an interesting pattern. Sometimes you just never know until you try something what you're going to get. So, but if you at least give the universe the opportunity by doing some of these random ties, it's possible to get some pretty interesting extra things in there. I especially love it when faces show up. And that does happen a lot. Anytime you fold something in half and then tie it, you increase the chances of a face showing up in your t-shirt or tapestry. Okay, so now I'm going to wrap the geode down a little bit here, so gathering fabric. And if you guys have any ideas that you would like to see me do for a live video, you can post them, not in the comment section, not in the chat box here, but if you post down below the video some ideas, things that you would like to see. If it's something that it looks like it'll work for a live video, then I will go ahead and add those into my schedule. But other than that, I usually just sit in meditation and see what kind of ideas come to me, and I usually just pick one of those ideas, or sometimes it's just one, and in this case the geode was the only thing I saw, but I saw it with these images, so I added it in, and then like I say, I'm mixing it up by folding this dry, and then we're just going to use soda ash mixed in with our dyes. Okay, so this part here is all coming together. So I'm going to probably tie 2 more geodes in. I'm going to move down to this open space here, and then I'm going to do another one over on the other side there, and then we'll get some dye put on these. Like I say, I'm just going to go with purples. I have 4 different purples that I mixed up, so we're just going to use those. I mix the soda ash in with them, and I'm just rambling and chatting here. Sorry, that phone call just kind of threw me off my game here and got me a little rattled. Oh, Jewel says purple is my favorite. Yes, I'm really loving purple, and it just keeps coming to me in my meditation, so I decided I need to play with purple. So I broke them all out, but then I decided to go with just 4 because I didn't want to make this too complicated. I wanted to be able to add the dyes without trying to figure out where I added what later on. So, although I did mix one color, I had Powerberry, but Powerberry is a really dark purple, so I went ahead and mixed in a tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons of dragon fruit to lighten that up, but also just to kind of see what that did with having 2 different colors in there. And let me just get these out. I also have amethyst, I have raspberry for some brightness, and then blue violet. That's one of my favorites. I love because it bleeds out turquoise, so that's kind of fun too. I like when the colors bleed out, although that's when it's in its liquid form. In powdered form, I would imagine that it's going to split out and have some turquoise. So we're going to just go for it and see what happens. Oh yeah, the power berry. I've played with it just a little bit, but I haven't really explored it as much as I want to. I think invariably I put too much of the power berry on, and it just makes everything a really dark purple. And I need to kind of lighten up a little bit. Can you review color splits? I'm still real new to ice dyeing, so if you're asking specifically which colors split, I can't tell you that. But I do know that if you want to test out your colors, I haven't done this yet with these, but you can take a piece of wet paper towel and just sprinkle a little bit of the dye on there, and as the little individual dye particles hit, you'll be able to see some of the different color splitting. But I haven't done enough of the ice dyeing to really explore with it, and I'm hoping to do a little bit more of that today. So you're just catching me on doing an experiment here. I know a lot about liquid dyeing, but I haven't done as much ice dyeing. It's probably, I've done 90% liquid dyes and 10% ice dyes. And then of course the other thing I want to get into is the hot water irrigation. So I've been having some chats with Justin Biffer, and I think I really want to kind of explore a little bit more with the hot water irrigation. So eventually you might see a video from me on the hot water irrigation, but I probably want to play with it some first, so before I do that. But also Justin indicated, well, I'll let Justin, we'll just stop right there. See, how would you mix a gold color? Gold, the way I usually do it is I start out with mostly lemon yellow, and then I add just a little tiny bit of orange into it. I have deep orange, and that will give, it gets me a nice gold color that I like. And I add just a few drops at a time, test my results on a white paper towel. And I suppose you could probably use fuchsia also, although that might lean it more into a reddy color, but if you do just a couple drops, then it should be fine. Okay, let's tie one more geode in here at the bottom, and then we'll get this thing wrapped up. And oh, and looks like Julie brought me a round of questions here. I will get to those questions soon. I just happened to see that one of them come up in the chat room, and it was an easy answer. But while I'm trying to get this tied up, I don't want to get too in-depth into answering questions, because then I get hung up, and right now I feel like I'm a little bit off my game, so I won't confuse myself any further by trying to answer questions at this moment. But at least the one thing with geodes, it's not really precise. I mean, once you get your images tied in, if you're doing images, then the rest of it is pretty basic. You just keep crumpling and tying. So, and like I say, I like to have my geodes be really wonky shaped, so I try to add extra fabric in wherever I can. So on this one here, I'm just I'm already right into the corner, so I'm gathering space on both sides here and just kind of adding it in to this last couple ties down here. Yes, I'm sure I will like the hot water irrigation. I do like having the instant results. You can explore with ideas and see your results in the same day instead of the waiting the 24 or 48 hours. But yeah, I need to go get a sprayer. And Justin Biffer, he recommended just the Walmart weed, and I don't know if it was weed and feed, or anyways, there was the one from Walmart that was fairly cheap, so that's the one that I'm going to go with. I'll post links and stuff later whenever I figure out which one I'm using and let you guys know how I like it. But I got to get the equipment in, but I have been having fun playing, mixing my dyes. And also Justin recommended a different dye to soda ash ratio, so I'm going to explore with that a little bit. Okay, let's see. So I got my geodes tied in here, and I think the rest of this fabric here, I'm just going to kind of wad it up a little bit. Well, let me first get all of my geodes. I like to have it kind of all fairly flat. I like to lay my geodes down if I can, so that when the ice goes, the dye goes through, it's getting all of them, and then when they're poking straight up, it's hard. Let's see, what was that suggested ratio? He suggested 2 teaspoons of dye to a 1/4 cup of soda ash. So I haven't played with it yet, but if you guys have seen Justin Biffer's work, he does fantastic work. It just looks awesome, and his colors are great. So I'm going to give it a try. But for now, what I've done with this here is last time I did a 2-to-1, where I did 2 parts dye, 1 part soda ash, and this time I've mixed them in where it's half and half. 2 tablespoons of dye and 2 tablespoons of soda ash. So that's what I'm working with today. And then, like I say, when I do the hot water irrigation, I'm going to try the other mix and see how that goes. Okay, so now that I have all of my geodes kind of all laying down flat here, I'm just going to wrap up some of this excess fabric back here, just to kind of get it bunched up, tied up a little bit. And I'm not tying this real tight just yet. I'm just kind of tying it together and just making sure that all of my geodes, that's just my personal preference. I know some people, they dye them in all different ways, but this here is the way I like to do it. Let's see, I can't wait to see this one when it's done. Thank you, Carl, for all you do. Oh, thank you, Uniquely Yours, and thank you for the super chat. Very much appreciated. Yes, I'm looking forward to this one too. Like I say, it was, I kind of had the image come to me in my meditation, so once I had kind of decided to do the geode, then adding the images in just is what I seen in my meditation. So that's one thing I love about this art, is to be able to see a picture in my mind and then turn around and create it in real life here. Okay, so now the other thing I'm going to do, I have my geodes all lined up here, and now I'm just going to wrap sinew around this just a little bit to hold this in place here. Like I say, this here once again is just my personal preference of getting my geodes lined up and held together. There's many ways of doing this, but this is the way that I like to do it. So that's what I'm doing. And then I'm just going to tie this off. I just wrap it around another place where I've already tied it, so I can pull that tight and cut my string. Okay. Oh, Julie, I already got the ratio question answered. You're welcome. Okay, so there is that. And now let's see. I'm going to dye this in the muck. So I'm going to wrap this in tin foil, and then I'm going to put it down in my tub here but we're going to put that in there later after we've already put our dyes on. I think I'm going to add just a little bit of dye to this, and then the other dye I'm putting over top. So, and then of course when I break out my dyes, I'm going to put on my mask. So, tin foil, that's what I'm doing. And the tin foil is just my way of putting a border around this to hold my ice so it doesn't fall off of the edges here. There's lots of different ways. Any type of cardboard or other plastic you can wrap around here to hold that. And some people, they don't even put it, they just like to stack their cubes on. So this here is just my own preference here. Okay, and I think I will set this right down in there. I think you guys should be able to see that okay. Let me wait for the, yeah, you guys can see that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just add just a little bit of my raspberry. That's my brightest purple that I have here right now. I'm going to add some of that to just a few areas of my ties here, and then the rest of it I'm going to put the dyes over top. So I'm putting my mask on here, so no more talking until I get my dyes sprinkled on here. Okay, so what I basically did on a bunch of the different lines where I tied it, I went ahead and added the raspberry just to see if I can highlight some of that. And now the rest of this, my power berry with dragon fruit, my amethyst, and my blue violet, I'm going to sprinkle over top of the ice. Okay, put my mask back on. Oh, thank you, Cindy, for the super chat. Very much appreciated. I love you guys. Okay, this one here is blue violet. And this is amethyst. And this last one is the power berry with dragon fruit added to it. Okay, so I'm going to set this out of the way here and wipe up my area. And then we're going to move into the auction. I'll break out the tapestry from last week. We did the wigwag zigzag, I call it. I was pretty happy with the way it came out. Although I can see lots of ways that I want to play with it and change it up a little bit. One of the things is to maybe not do quite so many zigzags so that the patterning spreads out a little bit. And also maybe not putting my zigzag all the way to the edges. So there's lots to explore with. But anyways, I do love how this one came out. So okay, so let's open this puppy up. And if you guys want to see the full thing, let me post a link to where you can find it. It's over in my Facebook pages there. Come on, there we go. Okay, so if you want to see the whole tapestry here, then you can click on that link. It's the second one down, but I'll open this up and show as much of this as I can on here. And then of course this tapestry is now officially up for bid. You can just place your bids in the chat box. And we'll move into the Q&A section. But yeah, I had some nice zigzag action going on here, back and forth. So anyways, and like I say, this tapestry measures 56 inches by 54 inches. It's one of the Sunshine Joy tapestries, and it does have the loops in the corner for hanging. So you guys want to place a bid, you can place that in the chat box, and I'm going to get to answering some questions here. But let's move this so I can see what's going on here in the chat room still. Okay, we have an opening bid from Saucy for $30. Thank you, Saucy. Okay. Let's see, about rinsing and washing. In your video, you mentioned you wash hot. Doesn't that shrink the cotton? Uh, yes, hot water is going to shrink it some, but for me, I use my Gildan Ultra Tees. They're pre-shrunk already. But also, there's the possibility that if you're selling your t-shirts, I like to have my t-shirts be completely shrunk when they go out so that somebody else doesn't buy a t-shirt, get it, and then shrink it. So I like to have them already shrunk. But the hot water, what that's going to do is encourage all of the excess dyes that's not bonded to be released from the tapestry or from the t-shirt, from the cotton. The warm water is going to help some, but the hot water is what really helps release that excess dye that's not bonded. So that's just my personal recommendation. It's going to cut down on customers saying that they washed one of the things and a bunch of dye came out. In the machine, you wash 3 times. Do you also rinse 3 times? No. I rinse just at the end. So I run it through a hot cycle, and then I'll usually take the shower nozzle and turn on, I'm telling you something you probably shouldn't do, but the little actuator button on the washing machine, I poke a Q-tip in there, which starts the washer to spinning with the lid open, and then I can take the sprayer nozzle from the shower and I spray down in there. So that gives it just a little quick rinse, but it's not wasting a full washer load of water to rinse it. So I just do a quick rinse like that, and then I fill it back up again with hot water. And this time I can add less synthropol. On the first one I add a bunch because there's a lot of excess dye. The second wash there's not quite as much, so I add just a little bit of synthropol. And then usually on the last wash I like to add maybe just a tiny drop of synthropol if there's still color coming out, but if there's not much, I do just a straight hot water wash, and then I will forward it through to the rinse cycle after I've checked the color of the water. If the water looks like it's clear, or sometimes just because of the fabric in there, there'll be a slight tinge of color, that's usually fine with me. I'll forward it right through to a rinse cycle and then into the dryer. Although some people, they prefer to hang dry all of their tie-dye because it makes it last longer, I've always just thrown mine in the dryer. Where do you get, or how do you make soda ash? I used to buy mine from Dharma, but paying shipping on that was expensive. And I did find, I'm not keeping up with the bidding here. We had a $45 bid and then a $50 bid for the tapestry. So thank you, Heather. You're the top bidder right now at $50. But I will post a link on how I make it, but I'll explain it also. So I buy my soda ash from a pool supply store here locally. I can get a 50-pound bag for 30 bucks. And that's just a decent price for me. But if you have trouble finding soda ash and you need to make it, there we are, you can make it from baking soda. And here's my video on soda ash. I just posted a link. But basically you put it in the oven, and I did mine on a tinfoil covered pan, which later somebody told me that was wrong. I went back and read the directions, and it did say a glass dish. So heat your baking soda, put your baking soda in a glass dish, and then you bake it in the oven. I believe it was 1 hour at 400 degrees. And I then used that soda ash I made, and I made t-shirts, and I used the stuff from the pool supply, and I used the stuff from Dharma, and then I got them mixed up and I forgot which was which. But at the end they all looked like they had the same color saturation. So I think all of the soda ashes, whether you made it, bought it from Dharma, or you bought it from the pool supply store, all of my results came out equal. So you can do it any way you want. My preference is to buy it 30 bucks for 50 pounds. Let's see. Do you know how to make a jerry bear? Yes, I don't think I've put a jerry bear, but I just do a fold. Let me get my, I do have a playlist with images, and there's some of them with faces in there. So you would tie it up the same way. Maybe I will add the jerry bear to my list of things. I did do a steely. There's images. But I haven't done a jerry bear yet, so I will add that to my list. But for now, oops. Come on, there we go. It's not the one. Oh, here we go. So here's my images playlist. This here has a bunch of different image type tie-dyes that I've tied up. So a jerry bear would be done in the same similar manner. But I will add the jerry bear to my list of videos. And of course, if you're subscribed to my channel, you'll get notified when I do put up another one. So let's see. Oh, and thank you, Saucy, for the Facebook link suggestion. I think I got it. Love, Julie. How often do you change your soda ash, or is it new every time? I don't change my soda ash at all. I use the same bucket, and whenever it gets low, I just make more and dump it in. The soda ash, as far as I know, does not go bad. Sometimes it will discolor just from whatever you've been soaking in there. So mine usually, it looks kind of an off-white color, kind of a tanny color, but I haven't ever had any issues with my soda ash. And just hearing from other tie-dyers, soda ash doesn't go bad. So you can just keep adding more to the same bucket. I happen to have a dedicated wash machine out back for mine where it spins it out of one washer into the other washer. So I just keep 15 gallons of soda ash mixed up in my washer, and when that starts to get low, I just make up another 3 gallons, pour it in to top it up. Do you have more questions for me back there?
Yep, I'll be right there.
Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, Marie, I think Julie might have that question for me. So I will get to that about the thick water as soon as she brings it out. She's coming out. Oh, no, she says ask again.
I couldn't, I haven't
So,
seen
yeah,
that.
Marie, I guess she didn't find the question about thick water. So if you ask it again, we'll get that answered for you if we can. Let's see. My son wants a blaze orange hoodie. Where can I find neon colors? As far as neon colors, I don't believe Procyon type dyes come in neon colors. Some of them are really bright. I use a deep orange, but it's not neon. I know there's other types of dyes that I'm going to experiment with. The pigment dyes, and they do say that they have neon colors in there, or fluorescent. I haven't played with them yet, but I do have them in, so I'm going to get to making a video soon on that. But you might just ask around on the tie-dye pages for the brightest orange and see what other people's opinions are. Okay, how much does the dye cost that is being used on this? I buy my dyes in the 1 pound jars, and the 1 pound tubs from Dharma, they come in this size here. They typically run anywhere from, depending on what color it is, from $17 up to I think $25 for 1 pound. So, and I used, let's see, I'd say a few tablespoons of dye on that. So I can't do the math and figure that out, but you get 1 pound, which is a lot of dye, sprinkle out there or to mix up into liquid. Whenever I'm making 16 ounces of the dye, I use 5 to 6 teaspoons for 16 ounces. So it's very concentrated dye. But as far as the cost, you'll just need to go, and they do sell in smaller containers. I buy 1 pound tubs, but they have the 8 ounce and the 2 ounce containers also from Dharma. And I'm not sure what sizes other dye houses, but they sell it by the pound or by the ounces, and you'll just need to check the different sites. There's Custom Colors and Prochem and Grateful Dyes, and then Dharma are the 4 main ones that I know about. I bought from 3 of them. I haven't bought from Prochem yet, but the other 3 I bought their Prochem dyes, and they've been awesome. Do you travel and put on demos anywhere? I'd love to meet you. I have done festivals and things in the past where I went and set up my booth, but it's not something that I've done lately. Let me see here. I've completely lost track of the bidding on here. I keep forgetting. I get into the questions and I forget we're doing an auction. So let me scroll back. I see Heather has the high bid. I'm going to scroll down and see if there's been any others, but right now I see $50 from Heather. And I'm going to scroll down and see if there's been any other bids. I don't see any. Okay, so Heather still has the high bid at 50. Since I forgot about this for a while, I'm gonna leave it open for a few more minutes here. So if anybody else wants to get in on this here, the high bid right now is at $50. And I'm also gonna take a moment and plug my phone in just in case. I'm not sure where my battery life is at. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, so as far as traveling around, like I say, eventually I would like to travel around. And so I'd love to meet up. At the point that I decide to do that, I'll put out notices everywhere and let people know where I'm going. But right now I don't have anything in the works for traveling yet. But if you do come to Oregon, I'm here in Oregon. Although I guess I don't have a big studio space to invite people in, so that's not a possibility just yet. How much urea do I mix into dye water? What I do, I don't always use urea. Urea is not required, but if you do add it in, I think I put 2 tablespoons in for 16 ounces of dye. And if you want to make up dye water, then you can multiply that out and figure out how much. Looks like we got a $55 bid from Jessica. Thank you. Let's see. Can you do a dip dye using bleach water on a black shirt? Yeah, I suppose you can. I mean, I usually will tie my black shirt up, and if I'm using the bleach, I squirt it on with just one. I put bleach in one of my bottles. I do have a special bottle for it, where I wrote bleach on it so I don't put anything else in there. We have a $60 bid from Heather on the Tapestry. So I just usually will put my bleach mix. I usually mix mine 50-50. And I just squirt it on. But yeah, if you wanted to mix up your bleach solution and then dip parts of your shirt in, yeah, you can certainly do that. The main thing whenever you're working with bleach is to remember to neutralize it. So after I get it to the color that I want it, then I will rinse out as much of the bleach as I can, and then I put it directly into the bleach stop. And that's, you can either use the bleach stop from Dharma, and they have directions on how to mix that up, and I explained that in my videos on the bleaching also. Let me see if I can find that. But also you can use hydrogen peroxide mixed with water. I think I used 1 cup for 1 gallon. But currently I've been exploring with the RIT color remover, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. But here is my discharge dye playlist. And so you'll need to scroll down to the ones that look like they're brown and or black and brown or black and orange. Those are going to be the bleach ones, and I do explain the whole process for stopping, neutralizing the bleach in there. And I also show how I apply the bleach, either with the squirt bottle, or I've done spray, or I've done a sponge. Okay, so we have a $70 bid from Heather on the Tapestry here. Okay, yeah, so that's all I have to say on the bleach. And let's see. Pre-made thick water for elderly to drink. Would you try it to thicken your black dye?
If you couldn't get the other supplies. Repeat that out loud.
Yeah, somebody's wanting to know if I can't get the other supplies, they have pre-made thick water for elderly to drink. And then they want to know if we try that for thickened black dye. I'm not sure what they thicken it with, but I know I've heard people talk about using guar gum and xanthium gum, I think, or something. Anyways, there's other thickeners. Yeah, I would say you could try. I wouldn't mix up a whole bunch. I might mix up just a small one bottle and just test it out and see, because I'm not sure just how it affects everything else. But yeah, if you can't get the other stuff, sometimes it comes down to using what you can get. And I've done a lot of experiments that way, where I just try something out because I don't have anything else to use. The next thing that I'm going to be getting in, I haven't ordered it yet, but I'll be ordering it soon, is some of the Super Clear from Dharma. That's a thickening agent. But yeah, I would say try what you can. I just wouldn't mix up a whole huge batch until you tested it out in small amounts first. So we still have a $70 bid from Heather on this. I'm going to leave this open for another few minutes, so if you want to get your bids in, let me take a peek, see if we have more questions here. No, nope. Oh, I think that's all the questions. Let's see. Cool, thanks. I'll let you know how it turns out. Still love my rainbow heart. Oh, awesome. Yes. Yeah, I always like to hear if people are doing experiments, how it works out, because then I can pass that information on to other dyers. What does the Super Clear from Dharma do? As far as what I've read on their website, it's just a thickening agent that's already pre-mixed. So I'm going to test it out and see, because I used to make up a big batch of thick water and just have it available to use all the time. But the amount of tie-dye that I've done has cut way down, and the thick water was going bad. I used to sit here for 2 or 3 months and it was fine, but once it gets into longer than 3 months, it was going bad. And the way that I could tell that it went bad is the urea breaks down and then it puts off kind of an ammonia smell. And at that point, I don't like to use it. So I'm just going to try out something else. And I would imagine that the Super Clear, where it's already pre-mixed, is not going to go bad on me, or at least, you know, not in the amount of time where I'm going to be using it. So as soon as I do get some of that in and try it out, I will let you guys know how it works. But yeah, I haven't been playing much with the thickened dye at all, just because I haven't taken the time to mix it up because it keeps going bad. Let's see. Somebody's asking about my necklace here. Yep, this here is my little medicine bag. It's made out of deer hide, and it's got a little deer tooth on there. And then I have various stones in here, so I will dump these out. Oh, let me check to make sure where we're at on our bids. I think I'm going to close the bidding out here in just a few minutes. Heather is the high bid at 70. So if anybody wants to get a bid in, do it now, because I'm going to close it after I show my rocks here. So these are the rocks I have in there. This here is Mandara crystal. I can't remember, but this here is a special stone from Lake Michigan. I can't remember what it's called though, but one of the My brain is going blank, but somebody here sent it to me. But it's got the little fossil shapes in there. I don't know if you can see that. I gotta wait for you guys to catch up to me because I live in the future. There we go. Yeah, so anyways, and I think that's jade. I got some quartz here and then some hematite. So yeah, I love to carry stones and crystals and stuff in my medicine bag here. Stones really are medicine. Let me see if I can get them all back in here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start the closing process on this tapestry. So right now we have a high bid going once at $70. And you guys are welcome to bid more. If somebody does bid, then I will leave it open longer. But otherwise, we're going to close this out. And then I think Julie might have another question or two for me, and then I'm going to close the video out. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me through the, let's see, where did you get the medicine bag? Oh, I got this at a powwow many years back. So it was handmade, hand-stitched and stuff by Native Americans. And like I say, I just loved how it looked, so I bought it and filled it with stones. Okay, $70 going twice. Nope. Almost forgot my gavel, but I had it here. Okay, $70 going 3 times. Okay, sold for $70 to Heather. So thank you all for bidding. Thank you all for just being here, like I say, hanging out with me, even though we had the whole mess up with the phone call and the feed going down and having to restart the video. You guys found your way back here. So thank you, Heather, for your bid. And of course, you know, just add $70 or add $7 on, so your total is $77, and you can pay. I'll put the little link up here so you have a easy access to it. So you can pay at the donation link, and or I don't remember, if you want an invoice, you can also message me and I will invoice you. I've had so many people buy, I don't remember. Let's see. Okay, what's this?
There's conversation in the room about not needing to bleach stop.
Oh. Okay, Julie said that there's conversation going on about not needing to bleach stop. And that is your prerogative. But my own personal experience with bleach, I've had stuff where I bleached it and then I've rinsed it and washed it, and then 2 or 3 washes later it develops a hole. As far as what I understand and know about bleach from the years of playing with it, the bleach is going to continue to stay active and eat away at the fabric, the fibers, very slowly, mind you, but it will, and after time it's going to disintegrate. If you've used a lot of bleach, the whole thing could fall apart. If you use just a little bit of bleach, you could just start developing holes for unknown reason. Oh yes, Petrovsky stone. Thank you, Dragon Tears of Love. Or yeah, thank you. That's what it was. Sorry. Squirrel. So anyways, yes, I just highly recommend, if you're going to use bleach, that you do a bleach stop of some sort in there. But like I say, my new favorite thing has been the RIT color remover, and it takes the color all the way down to almost white. So that's my new preference there. And let's see, I don't see any more questions. I think that was all the questions, right?
There's a question. You're going to auction this geode next week?
Yes, I will do the washout on, since this here is an ice dye, it's probably going to be Saturday instead of Friday because I live in Oregon and the ice doesn't melt fast in Oregon. So I will do the reveal on Saturday, and then it will be up for auction on next Wednesday's show. Yeah, sorry, Saucy, the squirrel was because I saw the comment in the thing. So right in the middle of my conversation, I stopped to talk about my Petrovsky stone.
Did you get this question here?
Let's see. Yes.
Okay. Then
I think that's all of my questions. So we're going to close this.
Oh, he said hydrogen peroxide to stop the bleach, straight or diluted?
Diluted. The hydrogen peroxide, I use 1 cup to 1 gallon, I believe. But you can also check in my bleaching video. I will put that back in here. In my bleach video, I do explain how I do the bleach stop. And I'm pretty sure that it's 1 cup to 1 gallon of water. And then I soak for 20 minutes. So I bleach. And then once I get to the color I want, then I rinse it really good to get away as much of the bleach washed away as I can. And then I put that directly into the bleach stop, which I've already had mixed up. So the first thing I do when I'm bleaching is I mix up my bleach stop. And then I break out my tea and do my bleaching so that that is ready to put my t-shirt directly into. Because like I say, too many times I've had something fall apart. Somebody once wanted me to tie-dye a pair of overalls for them, and when they brought them into this was many years ago, I still set up my booth at the Saturday market, they brought me in a pair of dark blue overalls, and they wanted them dyed in rainbow colors. Well, the only way that I could do that, I should have just said no, but instead I said, well, let me bleach them out, and then I will dye them for you. Thanks, Mom. I love you. We'll see you later. Good to see you, or glad you got to see me. So anyways, I took the overalls home and I bleached them out, got them down to a nice light blue, and I went ahead and rinsed them. I even did the bleach stop on them, but I had already let it go too long. So I washed them and they looked great, and then I went and put them through the rinse and then into the dryer, and when they came out of the dryer they were just full of holes from top to bottom. And then I've had numerous other t-shirts where I think I mixed my bleach solution too long, or I left the bleach on for too long. Anyway, or I mixed the bleach too strong, or I left the bleach on too long. There we go. So anyways, that's my information on bleach, and from there you guys can do what you like, but I recommend a bleach stop. But actually what I recommend is the RIT color remover because, well, I really love the stuff now. And now I'm just rambling. Whiteout. Yes, I've heard about the whiteout from RIT, that it basically does the same thing as the color remover. I haven't tried it yet, but I do plan on getting some of it in and doing a test on it. So far I don't know anything about it other than somebody else has said that they use it and have had success with it, and sometimes even better than the color remover. So I will test out the whiteout, and I'll probably do a video and so that you guys can see what I get from that. Okay, well, once again, I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me through the phone calls, and thank you, Saucy. Yes, I'll remember to turn the do not disturb off. Don't drink it or inject it. Okay, Saucy, settle down over there. Thank you guys. Go out there and send some peace, love, and light out to the world, because the world certainly needs it right now. Go hug your mother, your brother, your nephew, somebody. Send some love out there. And just, you guys have a wonderful week. Enjoy your tie-dye projects. And I will see you guys Saturday when I do my reveal of this tapestry. Well, let's take a peek at it right now. Okay, well, that's looking pretty right there. So like I say, I did it in separate colors. I can start to see just a little bit of color separation here. This here is more blue, this here is more pinky, and this looks more purpley. So we should have some nice color results from there. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys all Saturday, and then of course I'll see you again next Wednesday. I love you. Peace.